The health benefits for pumpkin is not just fresh pumpkin. Out of a canned pumpkin still has the same health benefit. So that's to a lot of people. It's like, oh good, then I don't have to, yeah. So if you're going to do the puree, but you're not going to want to, I have that stuff in the oven. You're not going to want to eat pumpkin in dishes, pureed and whatever, So there is a benefit. I think it tastes better. And you'll see back there if you can't tell the difference, and I would say don't bother. But anyway, so this little pumpkin right here is a rogue. It's a red rogue. When you go to buy a pumpkin, well, first of all, I'm going to start with this. Sorry, I actually paid money for this pumpkin, like $2.50. I have a lot of pumpkins, and I don't know why I did that, but I wanted to show you. So when you're buying a pie pumpkin, which by the way was $1.50 today, it was $2.50 a couple days ago. Anyways, when you're buying a pumpkin, make sure that it's, for its size, it's heavy. Like, there was a ton there. I found this really cute little round one. I picked it up, put it in. I picked up this one. I thought, oh, you got to be kidding me. I mean, the other one I could have thrown, So make sure that they're really heavy. What that means is they've got a heavier wall. There's more pumpkin in them than in the others. These kind of pumpkins, now this is a rogue. It's a rogue Biff or something like that, which means red. So it's a red rogue, or rogue red.
Rogue what?
Rogue red.
Spell that.
R-O-U-G-H.
Okay.
Rogue. And Biff, it's like V-I-F, really, that's what it is. Biff D. I mean, I don't know what that means other than they said it means red. So it's a red rogue. Anyway, this is super thick meat, just like the sweet meat is. And I don't have a sweet meat up here, but there's one back there by the pumpkins. I did a pie out of it. And I am going to cut these all up and put them in the freezer I'm going to put these for, so you don't can pumpkin. They don't want you to can pumpkin. And the reason is because of the viscosity in pumpkin. It is so heavy, thick in a jar that you can't measure the heat inside that jar. So it's really dangerous. I mean, like for botulism and stuff, pumpkin is probably the most dangerous thing. I know people my mom was always afraid of it. I know people have bottled it. Just put it in the freezer. Put it in a freezer baggie, puree it, cook it, puree it, put it in a freezer baggie, and then you'll use it. If you don't have it on hand, I mean, even if you have a whole bunch of pumpkin cans, whatever, have it on hand or you won't use it. So have it on hand, put it in the freezer. I'm going to do that with all of these. When they can pumpkin commercially, they have machines and ways to test the temperature inside that can. But the pumpkin is like its own little insulator. It's not the same temperature in the dead center of that pumpkin as it is on the outside of that jar. And so that's what makes it dangerous. So I just don't even mess with it. Storing pumpkin. These store okay. They'll go a couple of months. They might even go 3. They don't store as well as these. This is my smallest because I don't want to haul the big ones. This is a blue Hubbard squash. I could kick myself because like a week ago I was cleaning out, okay, it might have been 2 weeks ago, cleaning out my cellar of anything to put new pumpkins and stuff downstairs, or down in the cellar. And there was probably this size of a blue Hubbard down there still. And I thought, and it was discolored. It was probably about this color, and I knew it started out this color. So that was from last year, and it was still out there. And I thought, oh, I'm going to throw this out in the corral, and it's just going to be poof inside. It's not going to be any good. It was still really good. It smelled good. It looked good. It was thick. I thought, you got to be kidding me. This thing lasted a whole year. So that's kind of cool that you can. I have a bunch. I have a lot downstairs, and if you don't let them touch each other, they do really well. I just don't want them to touch each other. If they do, they seem to spoil faster. So a lot of these will say pumpkins probably save the least. However, I have had a pumpkin go for till March at least. So that's pretty good if you can get them to go that long. Anyway,
Lori,
yes. Yes.
Be sure you leave the stems on them. If the stems break off, they will rot faster.
Exactly. That makes an open spot in them.
Yeah.
And I'll try to, this Howden, you're not going to get that stem off. So even on the spaghetti squash, every time we harvest these come off super easy. And every time we bring them in, oh, I didn't even really wash that. The stem comes off and it'll leave, you'll see it, it'll leave the meat there and it will spoil right there first. I mean, it won't keep, I don't keep any of them that have a stem, thank you, that have a stem broke off. If they break off, I stick them in the garage and we eat those first. Because that's, thank you. What else? Planting pumpkins. Pumpkins are fun to grow. Different varieties of pumpkins are way fun to grow. Any questions on growing pumpkins?
Do they cross?
Yes. Pumpkins and squash cross pretty regularly. Yeah.
How far apart do you have to have them?
I would say at least 30 feet, and I don't do that because I just don't do that. So I just get crossed ones. But it's not horrible. I'll try to keep them, instead of putting one of every other, kind and mixing them, I'll put a clump of these and a clump of these and a clump of these so that they're kind of in the same spot. And that kind of helps it a little bit. But I do get some really strange things. But the best thing to do, pumpkins need a ton of room. I know you can plant them next to your corn if you don't have room, and they'll climb, through your corn if you don't mind stepping over pumpkins while you're picking corn. And they will climb the vines and hang. I know we've got, I think it was Mike came over to get some corn, and he's walking through there, and he ran into a squash just hanging there in the corn. And he said, "What is that?" Anyway, it's kind of funny. And then, I have a funny pumpkin seed story too. I was going to tell you the pumpkin seeds. The little gardener kids come down to my house and get pumpkins. Well, they did when they were little every year. And they would come get them, and Kevin says, "You can take these pumpkins, but I want the seeds back." And so they look at him, okay, and he never thought another thing of it. Well, like 3 days later, here these kids kept throwing these seeds back to Kevin. And I guess the whole night, why do they want the seeds? They're cleaning these seeds. And in fact, the seeds that you're getting to take home, I did not do myself. I do a lot of silly things like canning peas and stuff like that. I did not sort out the seeds. I'm sorry, that's just, I'm not going to do it. I would if I was starving, but I'm not. So anyway, I bought the seeds, but I think that was a funny story. Anyway, where was I? I went off course. I do that a lot. When you're planting pumpkins, the best thing to do, well, what I do, and I don't know if it's the best thing or not, but I make it so that they come out into the lawn. So the next choice, if they grow beyond their perimeter, is they come out in the lawn. And when they come out into the lawn, I mow them off. And I mow them off because I don't want that extra blossom. I get bigger pumpkins. And that's what I'm after, is a bigger pumpkin. Usually it's the jack-o'-lanterns or the Howdens, the field pumpkins that are there. So I just kind of have them line the lawn, and when they come climbing out, I just mow them off, and then I don't have to move them all the time, because it's a constant thing. Like, they grow a lot faster than you think, and so I just, that's been my help, is doing that. Any questions about pumpkin gardening or pumpkins? Is there something that's... Okay. All right, so where's my fearless leader? Right there, Rhonda Lou. Did I tell you about the pumpkins back there? About the pies? Yeah, they're all different. They're all different pumpkin, but it's all the same recipe. And then I have a couple of pumpkin dinners, and it's just pumpkin dinners. And the one...
Get that out of there?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd really be good. Hey, Rhonda, Steve, will you help her? Because she's going to need it. Thank you. So, yeah.
I noticed back there on the pumpkin pies that there were a couple different ones cooked in a crock pot.
Yes.
How did you
Oh,
fit them in there?
oh, okay. That's my next little deal. It was a smaller pumpkin, so it wasn't any problem. So here's there's different, my mom cooks pumpkin in the oven. We wanted to see if that was, you know, the thing to do it. She cooks the whole thing, and, you know, I washed my hands, but then I played with the dirt, so.